What's up, Tommy Clifford?
Hi, Eric Kelly. Happy day to you. Happy
Day to you,
day.
sir. Yeah.
Good to see you. Very good to
Great to
see
see you. Yeah. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm excited for today.
Me too. I'm always excited. It's always a good day when Eric Kelly's in it. That's all I got to say. A very good day.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Guess what we get to talk about today?
We're going to be talking about something in the 100K Business Blueprint. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's a printed copy. Eric Kelly, is that a pre-release copy or is that
That's a pre-release copy, not available to the public yet, but it will be soon.
when? I mean, like soon. Like you've been saying soon. Help me with this. When is soon?
Probably the first week of August will be the official public launch. There's a lot of logistics into doing this the right way.
Understood.
And I think that this has been a learning experience for me. And one of the key things is the consistency of activity that needs to take place in order to get to the finish line of a project like this and get the result. Because the result that we're after is we've got something that's going to significantly add value to people. That's the goal. That it's going to be something that can have a transformational impact in their life and business. That's the vision, right?
Yep.
But much like building a business as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, as a real estate agent, as a sales professional, there's a lot of action steps that you have to take consistently over time to put the framework in place and to put in the sweat equity and have the reps, if you will, the repetitions of doing something to get to that finish line, which if you're in sales, it's the sale, right? It's the closing. It's the product shipped and my clients, it was delivered and my clients have it now. It's that level, that achievement, that tangible finish.
There's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. I mean, you don't just go from manuscript to a printed book. I mean, it's easy to say, sure, we'll just print it. Well, it's not that easy. I mean, there's a lot of pieces. I mean, you got to get a UPC code. Did you have any idea that you needed a UPC code?
There's a lot of steps.
A lot of pieces of this puzzle. Yes.
So I want to talk today kind of specific to real estate. The book is written so that it should translate across industries. I believe that it will. I believe any entrepreneur that is in a service-based business, any small business owner, they could pick up a copy of this book and it would have an impact in their life. I feel completely confident in that. But since I'm in the real estate industry, and I have been for over 2 decades, that is a close point of reference to me. And what I'm experiencing right now, I talk to a lot of real estate agents. I talk to lots of people every week that are in the industry. And I'm seeing 2 extremes in our industry right now, in the real estate industry. I'm seeing the group over here that's absolutely thriving and they're having a great year. And I'm seeing the group over here that is struggling and they're uncertain and they're wondering what to do. Okay. And so there are principles in this book that have application in either one of those demographics or segments of our industry. And as you know, as somebody that's also committed to personal growth like I am, there's always room for improvement. There's always an opportunity for us to be better today than we were yesterday. But I want to talk specifically to the group that's feeling uncertainty right now, anxiety. They might not be struggling, but they may just be feeling like this year is a lot harder rowing than it's been in years past. And they may have some anxiety about, hey, what's coming? There's a lot of unknowns in our industry. And so I want to speak specifically to those things today. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, when you brought up the 2 different people, my initial thought, and I went right down to the term foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people, a lot of real estate agents, of which, I have a license. I'm not active right now, but I have a license. There's a lot of people who got into the industry because it was like fishing for trout in a bucket. It was super easy. Okay, yeah. Grandma's selling, mom and dad is selling, my next door neighbor's selling. There's a lot of activity. And you didn't have that foundation. You didn't build a database. You weren't working your sphere of influence. You didn't have events. Mm-hmm. And so when things got harder, when the real estatemanship game was back, then the people who have the tried and true processes in place, they're the ones that are skyrocketing, and the ones that had kind of been just working off table scraps, they're suffering. And you can't thrive in this type of industry. You can't benefit from the work that you're not putting in.
Yeah.
To it.
Well, here's the thing. They were working by default. They weren't working by design. They weren't working by discipline. They weren't working by specific intention. And so I started saying a year, maybe 18 months ago to people in the industry, if I was going to speak somewhere, I was training or just kind of having one-on-one consulting conversations, I started saying to people, it's going to take more than an Instagram account and a real estate license to make a living. Like, we're going into different seasons right now.
Right.
And we're very much in a skills-based market. And I think the fear in that is for people that don't believe that they already have the skill sets. When you're starting a learning curve, it doesn't look like a mountain to climb. It looks like a cliff in front of you, and you're standing at the bottom of it looking up.
Right.
And you're like, how am I ever going to get up there? The good news is that if you're willing to make the commitment and you're willing to practice and practice through action, so it's kind of like on the job training, and be less attached to outcomes and more attached to the discipline of taking consistent action, which again, I mean, that's something that a lot of people want to resist. Work ethic really waned over the last 5 years at different periods because people didn't have to work as hard. And so now we're in a double down era. And so it's going to do one of two things. It's going to cause people to recommit and to believe in themselves and to invest in themselves and to take the steps that they need to take to elevate their game. Or it's going to make really clear for them that they need to go pursue a different career path.
Correct.
And that's what they do. There's no shame in that. But one of the things that the first chapter of this book talks about vision. And what I think about vision is critically important is having some clarity around where it is you actually want to go instead of working or living by default, like being intentional about that. And then doing a self-assessment and say, this is the place I'm actually at today. If I have a really truthful conversation with myself, this is where I'm at today. And what I'm finding is that wrapped around that, what's critical is mindset and where people are putting our focus, because we get to choose the inputs in our life, just like we choose the food and nutrition we put in our body. We're doing the same thing for our mental health, our emotional health, where we're putting our focus, whose opinions our opinions are being shaped by, who we're listening to that's chirping in our ear. Is it the news media? Or are we connecting with people that are succeeding at a high level and have a deep understanding of the market? And we're going out and we're looking for those reliable resources that can help guide us with relevant information. Because most of the stuff that we see in the grandeur of the spectrum of social media and mass media is very general. It's not even relevant to most of the clients that we're talking about. And the other thing that I believe about that, I was listening to this great podcast this week, and it was talking about like peak levels of achievement, which in this case would be the people that are thriving over here, and average or below average, or just let's say average achievement. The difference between getting here from here is only 10 or 15% more effort, more focus, better skills. It's not, I don't have to be 50% better or 100% better. I just need to start building some positive momentum, and I need to be 10% better or 15% better. And so if this week I can get 1% better, and next week I can get 2% better, and the week after that I'm 5% better than I was 3 weeks ago, I'm well on my way to getting traction or regaining some significant traction in both my skill sets and the results that I'm experiencing on the other end.
That is so true. And I love the 1% better thing, because a lot of people say, well, I got to make some big changes in my life. And a good friend of ours is a airline pilot. And he had a talk about, 1 degree of descent can make such a huge difference. Because, you're flying, and if you're going 1 degree down and you're not paying attention, over time, you'll hit that mountain.
Right.
And so a small little piece, that 1%, that 1 degree of elevation is going to make a huge difference and changes the trajectory of everything you're doing.
Yeah. Well, and now what happens is you build enough positive momentum. You're not climbing the whole way over the mountain. The momentum is carrying you part of the way. You're flying over the mountain, right?
Right. And when you have procedures in place, when you have when you're not living by default, I love that. I just defaulted to those closings, and many agents, myself included, during COVID, we defaulted to many different things.
Yeah.
But if you are intentional about what you're doing, intentional about working your farm, intentional about your newsletter, intentional about the videos you post, and intentional about the communication strategy, then you're not living by default.
That's right. Yeah. You're being more purposeful about it. You're doing it with intention, and it's not that much effort. I mean, if you were to call people in your sphere for 2 hours a day and just say, "Hey, Tommy, I was thinking about you this week. I just wanted to reach out and say hello. How are you and your family doing?"
Totally non-threatening. That's a total non-threatening conversation. And my family's doing great. Thank you for asking.
Hey, I'm really thankful to hear that. Do you guys have any exciting summer plans?
Actually, we are. Drew is in a play right now, Beauty and the Beast, and so he's practicing. So right now, we're kind of staycationing here in Appleton while Drew practices for that play that's going to go on mid-July.
Oh, that's fantastic. Isn't it awesome to see your kids doing something that they love?
It's amazing. It makes my heart sing.
Yeah. Well, if I lived closer to Appleton, I would come see Drew perform in Beauty and the Beast. I'm sure it'll be a great production.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure it will be too.
Yeah. That's probably the end of my conversation. But what's naturally going to occur in that conversation is at some point, you're probably going to ask me, do you have summer plans? How's your family? Hey, by the way, I know you work in real estate. What's going on with the market? And I'm going to say, well, we're in a very dynamic market right now, Tommy. Is there a specific area of interest to you? And people that have been with us a while, Tommy, have heard me say that script before, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. And the reason I'm going to keep saying it is, guess why?
It works.
Because it works. Because it works. It just works.
And there's nothing threatening
very
about
comfortable to call people that you know. And the problem for people that are not thriving in real estate right now is more action than anything else. It's getting this right. It's getting up and starting your day. It's going for a walk and getting some vitamin D and exercise and getting your blood circulating, and then having your morning coffee, and then thinking about 3 priorities that are the biggest things that you want to accomplish today. Just get really clear about it. If I did these 3 things today, would be a win. Maybe some of them are personal. Maybe it's professional. Maybe it's a client you got to follow up on. Maybe it's something else. And then if you just made those conversational calls 2 hours a day, that's a 10-hour work week. That's a 10-hour work week. And I believe if you just did that, if you did nothing else, if you sucked at everything else, you would sell 2 or 3 houses a month. But let's just say you would sell 1 or 2 houses a month. So I just saw in the Phoenix metro area, the average closed home price, and I don't know that this is accurate because I didn't do thorough due diligence on it. I just saw it flash somewhere and I was like, oh, that's curious. And I'll probably do the due diligence and I'll make a video about it, because I can say, hey, did you see the news headline recently that said the average price in Metro Phoenix was $451,000? Well, the truth is that's a little bit off, but here's what the data actually shows. And that's a nice little 60-second video that I could make, or you could make, or anybody that has a real estate license and MLS access could make. And they could either validate or they could offer a counter opinion. Doesn't matter. I just make the video. But let's say it's $451,000. Okay. And let's say that there's a 3% commission on it. Now, I understand there's a lot of people offering less, and people are up in arms about, oh, commissions are going to go away and blah, blah, blah. And whatever their belief system is. What I believe is that as an industry, just like we have as a country in these United States of America, we will adapt, we will survive, we will adjust, and we will figure out What's the way that we work around and modify our industry so that this works for everyone and we all get to live happily ever after? That's what I think is going to happen.
Right.
Doesn't matter how it looks right now. The details doesn't matter. Not for this conversation. But let's say it is 3%. Well, on $450,000, I'm pretty sure that the gross commission on a house sale of $450,000 sounds a lot like $13,500. So if you just invested in one simple thing, one simple skill set, one simple commitment, one simple day after day discipline, 5 days a week, like a normal job, and you could create that. Now, it might take you 30, 60, 90 days to get that water flowing. It's kind of like the old Zig Ziglar example. Remember when he used to do the pump on
Right.
the old water pump and give that example? And man, he would work it up until he was sweating up there in his beautiful suit. But putting forth that kind of consistent effort, like, what else are you going to do? What job are you going to go be tethered to 40 hours a week that you're probably going to be not excited about, really? Maybe you will. And if that's the case, good for you. Go embrace that career and go enjoy it. But stop posing as a real estate agent. If that's your choice, if that's not your calling, if you're not really committed to do it, then you're doing as much of a disservice to yourself as you are to the clients that you're hacking your way through by not showing up consistently and being a real professional in our industry right now. But if you are willing to do it, just that one thing, 10 hours a week, then there's $13,500 on average that could be flowing into your life. And what would that do for your life right now? What would that do for your family?
That's life-changing money. Absolutely life-changing.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that's a six-figure income. If you only did it 10 months out of the year so you can enjoy a life of leisure and vacations, then that's $135,000 a year on average.
Not bad. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Nope. You want to do the quick math for me? What would it be if it was 6 months a year? 6 times 13.5 would be about $80,000, a little over $80,000 a year.
Yep.
So you're going to get paid more than a tenured school teacher in most states.
Right.
For putting forth the effort and having the courage and the commitment and be willing to practice and put yourself out there to have 10 hours a week of conversations with many people that already know you.
Great story. So I got a good story. So back in the late 70s, Paramount Studios was nowhere. They had no big names. They had no big movies. And the president of Paramount Studios decided that he was going to call 5 people a day in the morning and that he was going to say some magic words. What can I do for you? And that was it. That was the whole purpose of his phone call. Mm-hmm. What can I do for you? And by doing that, then they got Beverly Hills Cop. Then they got Raiders of the Lost Ark. Then they got, they started, the hits just started coming. Top Gun started coming. And so just by shaking the trees and what can I do for you? That's it. What can I do for you? And the whole tide changed. Exactly what you said. Exactly what you said.
I love that story. And I think that is so true. And I was having a conversation with an agent this morning who's stressed right now, struggling a little bit. And we're talking about, hey, what's the target, man? What do you really need? And we always talk in round numbers. In this conversation, it was 10K a month. The reason I titled the book, The 100K Business Blueprint, is because when I would ask entrepreneurs, business owners, salespeople, especially in real estate, about their goal, I'd say, hey, what's your goal? 9 out of 10 people answer 100K, $100,000. I got to make 6 figures. For whatever reason, we're societally programmed, apparently, that is a benchmark of success. And that's okay. Awesome. So I'm like, well, let's build a model and let's build a systematic approach to generating exactly that. And so in the conversation, that you and I just had, if you had 8 months out of the year of executing at that level, that would be 100K just from that one thing. And that's not the only thing in the book. What I tried to do is break it down and think of it in terms of how I've approached my business. And when I look at systems or commitments or rituals that I'm going to have in my own business, my litmus test, and you know this, Tommy, because we've talked about it and working on projects together, is how do I stupid proof this?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to insult anybody's intelligence.
No.
What it's intended to do is honor the reality of us as human beings and how we behave as creatures. And what we love to do is add complexity to processes that doesn't exist, because when we add complexity, it gives us an excuse of why we can't do it, of why we don't have what we need, of why we're not equipped yet, or why some outside factor is influencing our results, when the reality is all we need to do is have clarity of vision, do a self-assessment, connect the dots to where we want to go, and then just take consistent action and honor that commitment to ourselves. Don't make it about anybody else. Just honor a commitment to ourselves. And the results and the rewards of that are going to influence and affect the people around us.
Well, it's so important. It's so important. And I apologize for cutting you off. The whole systematizing it and making that, stupid proof is so important. We are people of order. And when we take a complex, something that's complex, we break it into small little pieces, small little compartments. I mean, like that phone call, that's a small little thing. And then what we talk about, small little thing. What can I do for you today? What can I do to make your life better? What one thing? A lot of people talk about that, but it's true. Because our ultimate goal is to be top of mind with these people. We just want to be top of mind. And we have a conversation. What's your summer plans? No threat. People know you're in real estate. You don't have to, ram that down their throat. They know that, but you're just being friendly. And that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Here's what I think is the key to that too. And we talk about multiple forms in here of communication, and we talk about a cadence of engagement, and we talk about building community. And what I think is key for that is make the conversations personal, make them human, allow the people that we're talking to move the conversation to the next step in real estate. And there's elements of nuance to this, because you have to listen. We are guiding them through a sales process, if you will. Mm-hmm. But really what we're doing is being a good consultant. We're asking intelligent questions. We're listening articulately. We're having awareness around exactly what they want to say, their energy around certain answers. We're asking next level questions to get clarity on their personal priorities. But we're really just there to be a guide, and we're helping them come up with a strategic solution to get from where they are to where they want to go. That's what our role is, right? We're a trusted advisor. We're
helping them through some of their hardest, most stressful period in their life. We're shepherding them. We're going to be just like a Sherpa. We can't get to the top of Mount Everest without Sherpas. That's all there's to it. And real estate agents are doing that. And I mean, this is a stressful time. And thankfully, our role is so important. And I appreciate you saying that.
It absolutely is. It is a vital role. But we're there to serve their needs. Our role is also to be a fiduciary. It's to act on their behalf, put their best interests ahead of all else. And that's how we win. When we get results for people, like they're choosing to do business with us because they like how we show up. We've built trust with them over time. They like the character and the connection they have with us, our personality, who we represent as a person, the ideals and values that we represent in the manifestation of our personality, how we show up when we're in their space. And so my belief is, in the one-to-one communication, keep it personal, keep it human. You can talk about real estate, but don't call and use some lame ass script of who do you know that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Like, you might as well wear like a plaid jacket and white socks. Come on, be better. So learn some communication skills, first of all, and then just be conscious of connecting with someone like you met them at the coffee shop, or you met them at the park, or you met them at church, and you're just getting acquainted and you're having a conversation with them, and then earn the right to communicate with them through the other platforms. And that's where I think we market ourselves as realtors.
Yep.
That's where I think that we communicate things about the market, or about this neighborhood, or about our community, or we profile some local businesses, or we share, as I mentioned before, here was the headline, here's the reality. And we do that type of stuff that builds our professional presence, but we do it in a way where we already have personal brand equity because they like the kind of person we are.
That's exactly right. And that goes, what you're doing with your videos. People can know, like, and trust you before you even have that face-to-face or that, phone-to-phone conversation. They know how you're going to act. They know your style, and like styles are going to attract each other. It's magnetism here.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. So I think we can wrap this up. I mean, I kind of said what I really wanted to say today. I am going to say, the book will be coming out in a few weeks. We do have a pre-order or pre-registration site if you're interested in it. For all the people that jump in there, and no pressure to buy the book. You do you. You do what's best for you. I am going to do some private small group training events where we're going to dive deep on specific topics within the book, because I want people to have the chance to have some two-way communication, to ask questions, to make sure that they have a thorough understanding of the concepts and that they're equipped to go take action. I want to knock down all the roadblocks to people actually getting in the habit of being in their business.
Oh my gosh. So one-on-one time or small group time with Eric Kelly. How phenomenal is that? I can't wait to get on the list.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Tommy. I really value the people around me, and I have been the very fortunate recipient of some very generous mentors and business partners and co-collaborators over the years. And I'm super grateful for that. I know the impact and influence it's had in my own life. And I have an opportunity now to share a lot of those experiences and to share my perspective and to share what's worked for me year in and year out for over 20 years to consistently create business flow. Are there some little ups and downs here and there? Of course there are. That's the reality of life. Like, we all experience that. But it's created an opportunity for me to consistently provide for my family over that period of time. It's created an opportunity for me to stay consistently engaged with my community. And it's created an opportunity for me to genuinely enjoy what I do and what I get to do for a living. And I want to share that experience with everyone out there that is willing to make the commitment and willing to, that wants to grow and willing to take the steps and just take some consistent action. Let's do this together.
Eric, you're awesome. One thing I just got to bring up is there's a great man that I grew up with, and one of his quotes is, "I've never given away more than I've gotten back." And that's 100% Eric Kelly, that you want to give back and you want to leave the situation much better than it was when you got there. And I love that. And I can't wait to get my hands on a printed copy of the book.
Yeah, coming your way soon.
Oh, I love it.
Excited.
I love it.
Well, hey, enjoyed the chat today, Tommy. I hope this was helpful. I hope there's some takeaways that people have that will make a difference for them today and this week and this month. And reach out if I can help you.
Eric, thanks so much. And we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Great. See ya.